Today, I really want to talk about 5 ways we get stuck financially. And if you've ever been stuck, you already know. It's this feeling that is heart wrenching, but in a quiet way where you feel like every time you go to try the thing that you know you're supposed to do, you're like, why would I even bother? Because I haven't been able to unstuck myself, right? It's so annoying. But I want to talk about some of the key ways that I see people get stuck because most of them I've already been there, and the ones I haven't, I can relate so hard. Let's talk. 5 ways we get financially stuck. One of them that I see a lot is that we make budgets we cannot keep. And there's this expectation like, oh, I'm not going to eat out at a restaurant at all. I'm going to have 0 things come up and I'm going to track every single expense, when in reality, we're probably already in a survival mode, and trying to add on some sort of like really intense tracking isn't going to work. It might work for a day, it might work for a week, it might even work for a month, but in reality, people who are wealthy long term are not tracking every single expense. They've built margin, they know exactly where their numbers are on the variable expenses that they spend. They have created their budget in a way that doesn't like completely overwhelm them. And so this is where I see people get stuck, because they think I can't keep a budget when really they can. They're just not doing it in a way that's sustainable or that works for their brain or for their life. So that's number one. Also, do not even get me started on Excel spreadsheets. I think that is the absolute worst way to keep budgets, and I see it all the time on YouTube. It literally drives me crazy. Step 2 is really not being intellectually honest with ourselves, okay? Intellectual honesty is to be able to see what is actually rationally going on and being able to make a judgment call on it without having to shame yourself, you know? I think there's so many things that we can convince ourselves is true. And when you live in that space, you get a hard reality. Like, this is the part where I think people get into a lot of debt without realizing it because they don't want to realize it. They don't want to look at the numbers. And if you've ever cringed trying to look at your credit card balance and saying how high it is, you are acting in a way that is intellectually honest, because you are actually going in and logging in and seeing the numbers, and avoiding it is being intellectually dishonest. You know, you're saying, it's okay, when you haven't actually checked if it's okay. You're just kind of assuming it's okay. And I completely understand why you would do this, because hello, sometimes the truth is harsh and we want to avoid the truth at all costs because it will require us to think about how bad things really are. Oh my goodness. Tea break. Ooh, it tastes so good. Third way that we get stuck is consuming endless amounts of content. Listen, there is so much financial content out there. For some reason, I really think that coaching at some sort of level is bull honky, because it's like, why would anybody need help? You can just look online and do all this for yourself, right? But the truth is that money is way more emotional than we think it is. And usually a person can harness their emotional powers. They know exactly how they feel about money, but they can't get the numbers right. Or they can optimize all their numbers, but they don't actually know how to make decisions because they don't have like the emotional capacity to figure out what they personally need or their family needs, or how to communicate that with the person also making decisions with them. So really consume endless content to avoid actually making financial decisions that would benefit us. I'm in this right now. I need to open up 529s for my kids, and I'm still just like, I'll do it tomorrow. It's too hard to get into my brokerage account and transfer it. It's like, no, it would literally take me 5 minutes, but I'm having a mental block. And I could just keep on consuming information about the best way to save for college, or I could just do it. We do get on this treadmill, especially in this age of like endless information, where we consume everything, but we don't actually take action, and we get stuck that way. Another way I see people get stuck is an absolute classic. It's giving up on a money strategy that will work for you. And what I'm really thinking about here is the inability to see long term, okay? Money works quietly and it works in the long term. Anything that's trying to get you to be rich quick is probably a scam. And our hearts and our feelings are so excited about getting rich because it would solve all these problems. That's how gambling starts. I mean, like, the idea that you could just get rich in one night or one game or one roulette wheel or whatever is very enticing to our primal brains, okay? And so money grows slowly, and therefore we have to have a long-term strategy. When I think about this, I'm really thinking about career choice. I'm thinking about timing and family planning of children. I'm even thinking about, a stay-at-home mother's decision to work part-time or grow skills so she could eventually work or work part-time, or even making a big purchase decision like cars and houses. Like, how long would it take you to save up for a $25,000 car as opposed to getting it and then taking out a loan for it? For some of us, it would take years to save up for a modest car. And so long-term thinking is more important, but sometimes when we're so stuck in survival mode, we literally won't go there in our minds because it's too dangerous to dream, or it's too dangerous to even consider that we would be in any other circumstance other than the one that we're in. And it's really harmful. I could write like a whole 5-part series about that, but honestly, people get stuck because they can't think long-term and they think with no strategy about their money. And finally, the biggest thing that I see when people feel stuck financially is really not trusting their decisions. And sometimes this looks like outwardly like I literally think I made the wrong decision here. But sometimes it's just subconsciously. Like, we're telling ourselves like, that wasn't the best thing, or we don't act on something that we know we need to act on, and we just keep pushing it away, because making a decision would be too hard. So sometimes it's indecision, sometimes it's making the wrong decision, sometimes it's making the right decision and then like not feeling confident about that. Like, crazy, right? Like, you've done everything you're supposed to do and yet you're still doubting yourself. Like, come on, girl. So those are the 5 ways that people get stuck with money. And I'm seeing it all the time. And you would be surprised that even really smart people get stuck. I want to invite you, if you're feeling stuck, to contact me below, because we can just have a conversation about it. I'm really not into the salesy thing. I really only want people to purchase from me if they really need it. I truly believe 90% of what you can learn is out there for you to learn. But do not stay stuck on the consumption wheel. Do not let your decisions be doubtful. Let them be confident, and let's build that for you, because you're worth it, your money's worth it, and more importantly, your future is worth it. So let's begin.